Canola School on RealAgriculture.com is supported by Bear Crop Science.
In this week's episode of the Canola School, what we thought we'd do is we talk to some farmers across Western Canada and see when they're going to start seeding canola. Will it be the first crop they seed? When are they going to get started? And what are their moisture conditions? I think a lot of them are going to say wet, but we'll check it out. And as you can see here, we had over a foot of snow this morning in Picture Butte, Alberta. And it's not a foot, maybe less, a little bit less than a foot. But it's mostly, a lot of it's melted now, and the ground is very saturated as if it wasn't enough before. But yeah, we need probably some wind to dry things up. I would expect not much seeding before the 1st of May. So let's check it out and see what some other farmers had to say. Okay, Brian, where do you farm?
We farm in Fanistal, Manitoba.
Okay, Brian, when do you think you're going to start seeding this year?
The way it looks now, we have some flood areas that are not very good, but overall I think we're looking good in the valley. Some places are bad, some places are really good. In our particular area, hopefully we're going to seed by the 2nd week of May.
Okay, will you be seeding canola first this year?
Well, if we're starting off from the May 7th, 8th, whatever fields are ready, we could put canola in first. We have been in the past. We've seeded at the end of April, and it's turned out really good. It's always that end of May frost that it will always do some kind of damage to us in one form or the other. And it seems like the earlier you plant it, it seems to be a little bit more frost tolerant when the frost does hit at the end of May. So I think early planting canola is a good thing, and it happens around here a lot.
Okay, so based on the moisture conditions, are you still planning to seed as much canola as you originally planned?
We like to keep our rotations the same.
Okay.
It's so it's not more or less. We're seeding about 900 acres of canola, and that's basically what we put in every year. It's anywhere from 7 to 1,000 acres of canola, depending on rotation.
So your canola acres will be the exact same as last year, then?
Exact same as last year, yeah.
Okay. Okay, John, where do you farm?
Westlock, Alberta.
So, John, will you seed canola first this year?
Not really sure. We usually depends on what time of year we get started. Typically, we usually put our wheat in before our canola, but if it starts to get a little late and we get the opportunity and the land that we're putting on is dry enough, we'll probably put the canola in first, but it kind of depends at this time with all the snow on the ground. That seems to be a question that's going to be a long ways away yet.
Right. So when do you think you're going to be able to get started seeding?
With the 8 inches of snow we got over yesterday, I would think it's going to be at least the end of the 1st week of May, if not into the middle of May.
And of course, based on the 8 inches of snow you got earlier this week, you would expect moisture conditions to be fairly high, I would imagine.
Yeah, the creeks have been running for about a week. The moisture soaked in a lot. What melted, we did fairly dry here last fall, and there wasn't that much frost, so most of it sunk in. But it's the top end of the soil is pretty saturated, and everything's running. Creeks are still going, and with this extra moisture now, it's really going to make it mucky for a while.
Kevin, when are you going to start? When do you think you'll be able to start seeding?
I'm hoping in the next 10 days with the snow that we've got here. Yesterday, I'm going to assume that next week will probably be totally out. So Easter Monday or the day after Easter Monday is kind of where I'm gunning at. 26th April.
Okay, so do you think you're going to seed canola first or another crop?
It'll be spring wheat or canola, depending on the conditions. If it's too wet, I don't want to try mucking in canola quite yet. Like it'll be within a couple days. Especially because we got pretty green crew, and canola is such a high input commodity. I think we'll probably start with wheat for a few days and then switch over to canola.
Okay, so based on the moisture you got, are you still planning on seeding as much canola as you had planned originally?
Yeah, because I don't think anybody's going to take their canola back. So, unless we get into middle to late May, I'm just going status quo.
Okay, and so are your canola acres up or down compared to last year?
Up.
Okay, Trevor, where do you farm?
by Battleford, Saskatchewan.
Okay. When do you think you're going to be able to start seeding?
Hoping like the 7th maybe of May.
Okay. So would that be behind last year?
Yeah, about a week.
Okay. Are you still planning to seed, or no? Will you be seeding your canola first this year then?
No, we seed peas first and then canola.
Okay. And then are you still planning to seed as much canola as you originally had planned based on the moisture?
Yep. We've just had to juggle a lot of fields to put it where we want it.
Kind of just rearranging it?
Yeah.
Okay. Will your canola acres be up or down compared to last year?
1/4 more, I guess.
Okay. Brennan, where do you farm?
Water, Saskatchewan.
Okay. When do you think you're going to be able to start seeding?
We are hoping, hopefully May 10th is when we were in the field last year, and with how wet it is, if we were going by then, I think we'd be fairly happy.
Okay, so based on the moisture, do you think you're going to seed canola first?
That depends on what fields are going to be dry, actually.
Okay. Are you still planning to seed as much canola as you had planned based on the moisture?
Yes, we're planning to seed actually as much canola as we can.
Okay. So are your canola acres going to be up or down compared to last year?
They will be up due to the fact that we had so many unseeded acres last year, and anything that was unseeded will be going into canola this year for sure. And then most likely some more acres above that.
Okay.